We searched the world over this morning to try to find a voice to bring forth some kind of normal whatever to a world of confusion. Well, we end up with Hanoch anyway. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, compared to how y'all are doing in America, we're doing fine here. Ruby Rivlin is still our president. Okay, president here in Israel, of course, is similar to the Queen of England,
True.
but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's anyway, since there's nothing that we can talk about decisively regarding the American election, let's move on to something else.
Yeah, let's do something important. Let me say this. I woke up this morning. Of course, I checked the news, real quick to figure out that what I thought would have happened last night was happening this morning, which is that we did not have any kind of results on this thing. And my first thought was, I am so. It's to wake up and know that in the heavenly realm there are no elections. That the one who never slumbers nor sleeps, that rules over everything, has never been up for election. That is an amazing thought to me. But that's another subject. You've got all kinds of things you've been texting me about, instant messaging me about, emailing me about. I got carrier pigeons last night. What is going on in the world of Hanoch Young?
Okay, well, it has a lot to do with dates in the calendar. Last week,
are we about to hear the Hanoch timeline?
Well, maybe not the timeline that people are looking for, but a timeline nonetheless. We spoke last time about the month of Cheshvan, the 8th month that we're in currently, how it has no holidays and what that might mean. But there are two very important dates on the calendar within Cheshvan today, which is the 17th of Cheshvan, the 8th month, is the day of the anniversary of the flood of the time of Noah. Not a really good beginning, but actually I have something that's a little worse. And for this, instead of going to the videotape, we go to the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. And I'm in Sefer Melachim, the first book of Kings, Aleph. And I'm in chapter 12, verse 33.
Okay, see if you can say that one more time, because
their Bibles open.
You're going pretty digital on us.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, you did pretty digital there, so give us that chapter again.
Okay. It's interesting, of all the things people have accused me of over the years, going digital is Aleph, the first book of Kings. It's chapter 12 and verse 33.
Okay. Got it. Go.
On the 15th day of the 8th month. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Can hear me?
I can now.
Okay.
I can't now.
Verse 33.
Okay.
On the 15th day of the 8th month, what happened? Now that would have been Monday. Yeravam, Jeroboam, decided he was going to change the history of the people of Israel for. We're freezing up, aren't we? Are we frozen?
Keep going. You're good for now.
Okay. This is when Jeroboam, closed the border with the southern kingdom of Judah. He built Bethel, and he put up golden calves. See, O Israel, here are your gods that brought you out of Egypt. He changed the calendar. Y'all can't blame that on us. He changed the calendar. This day should be a day of infamy and should be marked and commemorated within every Ephraimite, two-house, Hebraic roots congregation in the entire world. And it goes by practically unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
This is the anniversary of us, the people of Israel, being on the highway to hell. Someone should write a song with those lyrics. It's powerful. But this is when our one people were truly split apart.
Wow.
This is when those of the northern kingdom of Israel were prevented from going to the Beit HaMikdash, the temple in Jerusalem, and were forced to create their own calendar, their own holidays, their own religion, if you will. And we've been suffering for it through more than 2,700 years of exile ever since.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, we commemorate on Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, the destructions of the first and second temple. Here in Israel and throughout Jewish communities in the world, we have Yom HaShoah, a day commemorating the Shoah, the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
We have Yom HaZikaron, the Memorial Day in memory of every Israeli soldier, civilian, and security personnel killed in defense of the state of Israel. But this day goes by without notice. Now, on our Connect to Israel tours, we've always brought people to Tel Dan, and we've always discussed this.
Yeah.
This is something that people, along with the last Israel updates, stress on Lech Lecha, to leave your past behind you, to move forward, if you will, into the light of the Torah, as part of the people of Israel. This is the time for us to join together in love and mutual respect. Mutual respect does not mean we agree.
True.
Who cares if we disagree? It's possible that you and I don't like the same flavor of ice cream. Not a tragedy. We can order two different ones. But people miss that. They expect, the strength of the people of Israel across the entire world is based upon our diversity rather than despite it.
True.
And we don't take advantage of it. We don't take advantage of the wonderful, sort of cultural matrix or patchwork quilt. Matrix is probably a bad word to use in light of the American election. So let's forget that. Neo, we don't have to discuss that. But to me, it's something shocking. And I'm actually going to sit down and write another blog, having just put one out last night. By the way, I did get a message from someone who said, I loved your blog post that you put out last night, but did you realize what's the deal with Abraham? So I said, yeah, that's kind of the way I think and speak. So they kind of did, if you remember Lurch, and kind of go, that's okay.
Okay.
So what do you think about that, Mike?
You know, uh, the whole thing of Tel Dan and Beit El and the golden calves and all of that is of course intriguing, because it is about the division of a family. You know, we read about the uniting of the kingdom, and how King David brought the kingdom together um, in his time. And of course, we look forward to a day of Mashiach ben David, and where the kingdom will come back together again. I think that you're talking about going to Tel Dan and being up there,
Absolutely.
freezing up a little bit on your end.
No, I'm hearing you clear.
Okay, good.
You look as handsome as I remember.
Put your glasses off, take your glasses off. They're blurring your vision. You talk about going up to Tel Dan. And one of the things that we do on the Connect to Israel tour is kind of an outgrowth of what is part of my life anyway, and has been for more years than I really remember. And that is the reciting of the Shema. We have people in all over the world now that are doing this 9 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in their time zone. And we've got the Shema Israel Facebook group also. But I think maybe one of the things that we do that we really don't understand how prophetic and profound it is that in the last 2 or 3 years, I think it is, we've been just kind of happened to be at that place of the altar of the golden calf in Tel Dan, just at this right time at 3 o'clock, and our phones would go off, the alarms. And we've walked up there to the top of that little hill and have shouted the Shema out over the land there. I don't know, what that does in the spirit realm, but I think it's probably more important.
Huge. It's huge.
Yeah, I think it's more important than we all really know. But I think, Hanoch, let's take this to a different place, or the same realm here. That there's this idea that bringing the family back together is just going to be something that Hashem does. That we're going to sit back and watch it, and all of a sudden, poof, there it is. When in fact, it's not like that at all. There is an active role. Are you trying to charge your phone? There's an active role for each of us.
Yeah.
To turn away from that decision to divide, to turn away from hatred of our brothers and sisters, to turn away from doing things our own way, and turn
right.
back to doing things the way that the Creator has intended for us to do. Your thoughts?
It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. It's and when people say to me, well, it's a God thing. Really? We have the prophecy, and this is something near and dear to your heart. We have the prophecy that one day there'll be vineyards in Shomron and Samaria. But it took the Mike Claytons and the Daniel Claytons and our friends from Hayovel and all the other things to go and to plant and to prune to make it happen. We are living at a time when Hashem operates in this world through our actions.
Yeah.
And the sooner we realize that and act upon that, the quicker our final redemption and the restoration will be here.
You know, I got a post the other day from Tommy Waller, a mutual friend, and Tommy, of course,
Yeah.
is is the founder of Hayavel. It says that, they've had a team over there during this lockdown thing,
Yes.
and I saw the numbers of grapes that they picked. Um, to do that with a typical team that we would have the days that I was over there, we would have hundreds of people, and now they're, this small group of people. The amount of work they did was just astounding. And then I saw a post the other day that they ordered I think it was 4,000 trees. You know, Hanoch, in many people's theology today, they would have ordered the trees and prayed for them to be planted.
Well, actually, and those are the activists among them. The others would have prayed that Hashem create, deliver the trees.
Yeah.
Like, I wait for delivery each day until 3. Of course, that's the words of Janis Joplin. But that's really people's attitude. They're waiting for deliverance.
Yeah. Wow.
And what it is we're standing at the edge of the sea, and we're crying out for deliverance. And Hashem responds to us as he did back then. Ma titzak elai. Why are you crying to me? I already told you what to do.
Yeah.
Do it.
Hmm.
And hence the greatest marketing slogan of all time was born. Just do it.
So that did not come from Phil Knight. That came from the heavenly realm to Moses.
Listen, you say tomato, I say tomato. We can deal with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, on a lighter note today, I do want to tell you that you spurred us on the other day. And so Kathy got, right into the kitchen, did some fish cookies with icing, which if anybody doesn't know what that means, oh well, salmon cakes and collard greens and rice and tomato gravy. Did she do better than you? Well,
I don't doubt it for a second. I don't doubt it for a second.
Yeah. No doubt.
And it's interesting, some of the responses to that post that I put up, people were defensive about their own cooking. This is the first time I made that meal, okay? So y'all can just calm down. I'm not dissing anybody. Kathy was and remains my inspiration. I adore her. And for those who didn't know, Kathy had a birthday this week. May it be her best year yet. She is the heart and soul of the Clayton family, and she is a frighteningly awesome cook.
Yes, no doubt about that.
And as the rabbis of the Talmud said in ancient Aramaic, bless her heart.
All right. Hey, what's just for fill in here just for a second? What's happening with lockdown in Israel? Is there any news? Anything going forward?
Okay. Well, first of all, the good news is it started raining, and it's been raining off and on.
Okay.
The irony is, and for people who haven't been to Israel during this time of year, we essentially have about 10 days of fall. We have no fall season.
Yeah.
It goes from temperature hitting the 90s to within a week to 10 days being cold and rainy. It only rains here from the end of October after Sukkot until April, Pesach. That's it. So when people are here during the summer, it's dry, it's brown. Now things will green up.
Yeah.
In terms of the lockdown, well, we're officially in stage 2 of the exit from the lockdown. Hooray for us. What does that mean? Well, they've increased, grades 1 through 4 being in school. They've allowed personal trainers, hairdressers, and other one-on-one appointments. But stores, malls, gyms, personal pet peeve, remain closed. I'm most disturbed, though, by the fact that there remains no COVID testing facility at Ben Gurion being built yet.
Mm.
That likely will be some kind of necessity for allowing large numbers of people back into Israel.
Yeah.
Now, I just happened to read just before that in the UK, their National Health Service is debuting a vaccine right in December, as they put it, right before Christmas, which means right after Hanukkah. So I don't know. But it appears that we'll have 6 stages of exiting the lockdown instead of 9. That doesn't necessarily mean it'll be much quicker. It means that the government continues to fight.
Yeah.
I expect sometime after the US election is settled that there will be rumblings here of calling early elections yet again, which would probably be in March. Not definite, because everything in Israel with politics is a definite maybe.
Yeah.
One thing, though, that we're counting on,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. You said one thing you're counting
No, I
on?
was just going to say, I wanted to remind people that our next, one thing that I'm counting on is our Connect to Israel experience. February 28th through March 11th. Be'ezrat Hashem, with God's help. Still time to sign up. And it remains a strong possibility. Let's hope so.
All right.
And
Okay,
again, I want to encourage people to be in touch with me.
I'll put the little link there, kolyehuda.com. And if you, whatever question that you've always wanted to ask a person living in Modi'in, Israel, well, you got the opportunity. All right. All right, Hanoch, take care. Be safe. We will talk soon.
Thanks, Mike. Regards. Bye-bye.